I think this is our 5th or 6th year now to take care of the one lady out in Oglesby. This year she had 17 kids. 17 kids. And that she does foster kids for, and a lot of them are not even through the system. She just helps, and some people drop their kids off at her, and
we've got a ministry out that way. I wonder if they're taking care of her.
I don't know. I'll ask her. I have her number. I talk to her. She calls me because there's times she'll need diapers and stuff. She'll call me and she'll say, "Hey, is there any way I can get some diapers?" Yeah, I got you.
Ask her about food.
Okay.
And if she's not, I can connect her with.
Awesome.
Because I've got 2 ministries out that way.
Really?
Yes.
You got ministries all over the place.
Yeah,
Bob.
we do.
You just. But I love this, man.
We got 3 out in Coryell County, but 2 in the Oglesby area, near there.
That's amazing. That amazes me. I love, man, that's what we are, and that's who we do. That's what we think,
Tommy, it's good to be back with you again. We're a couple of weeks after Christmas now, but I just want to talk about what we did at Christmas time. To me, it was absolutely astounding what we did this year. I had no idea that we were going to do what we did. If I remember the numbers right, it's 705 families.
Yes, sir.
2,436 children.
That's it.
Now, I wish we could put a picture up for people to see all those toys. It took 3 truckloads of toys to get them over to the stadium all at one time. And we had those things all laid out under all of those tents over there. And I'm so glad that they had that.
Yeah, bad weather day.
And if the people watching this could see or understand what we're talking about, the parking lot was 4 deep with cars, and then we had cars lined up on MLK Drive all the way back to the Interstate
35
for 4 hours. And you want to tell us what that was like from your perspective?
Yeah, it was number one is awesome. And we're not a numbers people at all, except for the fact of being able to say this many people got touched, this many people got help today. And that's where the numbers come in. And I love that because we get the opportunity to do that. But yeah, it was a crazy day. We've been doing this now over 10 years.
Yes.
And we've never done that amount of people and took that long to do it.
And to see the idea how we knew that we were going to have more than last year just because what was happening with our distributions,
right.
The number of people that we were serving. But to get that far, we knew that God had this thing. We didn't realize how much God had this thing until we saw all those toys out there. And I was talking to Todd from Channel 25, and I told him, I said, now I know how much we've spent on toys because we have age groups, the 9 to 12
right.
boys and girls that are just, sometimes we just don't get enough gifts for
right.
them. And we knew what we spent on toys. I said, what we've got out here, that's got to be about $100,000 worth of toys. That was just an amazing outpouring from the community to get there. And then all of the volunteers that we had come in there. And it was kind of a rainy, nasty day, sort of. But God held back the real rain until we were done.
Yeah.
Until we were done.
That blew me away. It was nasty, cold, raining, kind of misty rain. But the real stuff, until we started packing up, the real stuff didn't hit. It was hitting everywhere else. That's what amazed me, is we'd have people drive through the line and they'd say, we just came from this place in Waco or this place in McLennan County, and it was pouring down rain. We didn't know if we should come because it was pouring. We're like, well, it's not pouring here. It's a little chilly, a little wet. But again, and the volunteers, that also blew me away. We've never had that many volunteers.
Never.
And they stayed and worked, not just volunteer groups, but I'm talking about some of our main volunteers were actually lead pastors at major churches here in Waco.
And they still talk about it.
Yeah, and that blessed me. When I look over there, and I know I've been doing it for a long time, but when I look over and I see a couple of lead pastors from some major churches here in Waco, and they're, man, for 4 straight hours, going to car, going up, talking to people, carrying heavy bags of toys, putting them in people's cars. That blew me away.
It's just amazing to me to see it and see it and see it. And, you know, some of the things that we had, okay, the guy with the fishing rods.
Yeah.
We had people coming to us that said, hey, we've got stuff that we want to give.
Yeah.
Okay, give it. So we just had opportunities for them to just give.
Yeah, that
and
was
it was
cool.
amazing to see all that going on.
Yeah, that was too cool. And, you know, the families we touched, you know, it just, and I do this because I love touching families. You know, I could very easily just say, hey, people in my church, y'all get out there and work. I don't have to do this, but I'm out there on the front lines. When we give this away, you're out there on the front lines. And because we love seeing the people, we love hearing the testimonies and getting to talk to people. You know, I know we had one young lady that called in, and this was one of the coolest stories. She called our phone line and talked to one of our operators, and she said she was a 17-year-old young lady, and on the homeless list, her and her boyfriend, and she's talking to him. She said, "Yeah, we're on the list." You know, and they signed up for themselves because they were told by the homeless groups to call. And then she goes, "But you know, I have a baby." She said, "I have a 1-year-old. Could I put him on the list too?" He's not on the list. Yeah, you can put him on the list, you know. And then the opportunity for that couple, they came back later and picked up at our church some diapers because we give away diapers at our church to a lot of groups. And they came later, Bob, and picked up some diapers from our church, and we were able just to bless them and continue to bless them, and we're checking in on them and stuff like that. So to get to follow up, to get to look at and see these people that God has blessed them through what some would say is, oh, that's a simple Christmas program. First of all, there's nothing simple about it. And I would dare anyone to come and check out how we do this. How many times did we shop this year? 4 or 5 times?
Several. Let me put it this way. I was there every day for 10 days because I could only get 40 cards.
Yeah.
We were getting the gift cards.
Yeah.
I could only get 40 at a time.
Yeah.
So I had to go to Walmart several times. I think 10 times.
Yeah, to get all the gift cards we needed to give away.
So many old kids this year.
That's right. But you know, that was beautiful because they worked with us so diligently to help us out to be able to get these toys. You know, last year we struggled getting enough toys because of the supply shortage. This year we had to be creative in some areas to fill some needs and fill some ages, but everything was met. Everything, the money came in that was needed. Everything has been met. God just took care of it. And that's what blows me away. We're sitting there, you and I as men, saying, how are we going to jump from 1,000 kids, 300 families, and more than double that in 1 year's time, especially with the economy the way it is, with things that are going on the way it is. But here's the deal. Anytime we say those things, the other but we got to say is but God, because God always takes care of what we need.
And just amazes me. And I love what you do because your church is involved with this. This is a major Christmas project. Yeah. Major. It takes us, 2.5 months to put this together before the distribution. But all the other things that you're doing, you're taking care of all these high school kids. We see some of the same kids because we're providing food into the high schools, and you're ministering to them in the high schools. Yeah. You're giving them diapers. They go to our store for clothes. I mean, back and forth. Tommy, I just know that I know your ministry is going to be highly blessed in the days to come because of all that you're pouring into this, and I just love what you're doing.
You know, Bob, I believe that, but also it's so important to me that we do kingdom business. And that means, you know, Jesus prayed, I would that my disciples become one, and I would that the church become one. And part of the problem is the reason a lot of people can't do what we do is because they're not willing to work together. They're not willing to work. I told you, several other pastors coming in and help us distribute.
That was huge.
And a lot of times churches won't do that. They won't join together. They won't get together and work together. But you and I have been doing this now for over 10 years, working together and saying, because I believe that you build synergy when you start working together with people and you start doing things. And I believe that, you know what, again, it's a circle that we keep completing with each other. You're feeding them. I'm giving diapers. You're going into the high schools doing this. I'm going to the high school doing something else. But we're touching a lot of the same kids, the same families, because they're all going through the same stuff.
Right.
And so it's so awesome, the fact that I love the fact, and if we could ever get this through the heads of other churches, other pastors, hey, we can do this thing a whole lot better. The Bible says it. It says two are better than one.
Right.
You know, it says one can put 1,000 to flight, two can put 10,000 to flight. And so if we could ever get that picture figured out in our church minds that, hey, if we work together, we could actually affect our city and affect our country, affect everything we're doing. And that's what's important here.
I really do think that's important. Yep. And to see, one of the things we had a lot of was the kids were in the cars.
Yeah.
You could see all the little people in
Yeah.
the cars, and they were happy
Yeah.
to see those big bags of toys. That was just amazing to see so many of them, because we don't always see so many kids. But this year we did.
Yeah.
We did. Saw a lot of kids.
This year we got to see a lot of kids. And like I said, a lot of families that were just, you can see it on families' faces that they're decimated right now. With what's going on in our country, what's going on in our world, they're decimated. And to see them get a glimmer of hope, just
the relief
a sliver.
that I saw in their faces when they saw what you were walking to the car with, those bags, the relief.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
A lot of grandmas, a lot of grandmas taking care of kids they shouldn't even be taken care of. But you know what? It doesn't matter whether they should or shouldn't. Those are still kids, and they still need to get a Christmas just like your kids got, just like my kids got, just like my kids still get, my grandkids, you know. And that was cool to me too. And I think we probably got some video footage of this. I know they're going to probably roll some B-roll in and show some of the stuff, but you know, it took us a whole lot longer time this year to separate the toys and bag the toys than it ever has. And
we never had 3 truckloads of toys.
Because we've never had 3 truckloads. But you know, my grandbabies, I've got an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. And the cool thing is they were up here. They're girls. I raised boys, so I don't, you know, I'm learning about girls now. But what was so cool is to look at them and say, I'd look at my granddaughter and I'd say, hey, go get one of the toys for your age that you would want to play with. And she would go and grab a couple of things. She'd, I'd like these, Pops, you know, and she'd bring them back and we'd put them in those kids' bags. And I'd look at my 5-year-old grandbaby and I'd say the same thing. Hey, go get some toys that you would want to play with. And she'd go through the big old batches of toys and say, I'd like this and I'd like this. And, you know, and then we had several other kids in our church, parents in our church that were up there helping, that their kids came up and were helping out. And
it's fun for them because they contribute at their level.
They contribute at their level. But here's the other thing. We are putting seed in them.
Yep.
To continue doing what we're doing.
Yep. And
that's what's important. You know, when we can teach our kids, hey, you know, that I read a story. My wife read this to me the other day. Whatever you feel in Christianity about this, I'm not here to bring up arguments at all. But a story about Santa Claus, and a man was asked about Santa Claus. His son finally got to an age and said, hey, Dad, is Santa Claus really real? And the man answered him. And he said, yeah, he is. He said, but it's different in the way you see it. He said, but now that you know that, you have to start giving and you have to become Santa Claus to other people. And I was like, that is so cool, because how cool is it to teach our children that, and we do it, we don't use the name Santa Claus in there, but what we do is we teach our children to follow what we do when it comes to being an example of Christ, of giving and giving to those that are less fortunate.
He gave so that we can give.
That's it.
We couldn't do what we're doing without what he did for us.
That's the whole gospel.
Yep. Real simple. Real simple.
Real simple.
Well, Tommy, thank you so much for coming here today. I just want to say thank you for all the work and hard work that all your people put into that. This was a different kind of a year. And I just want to say to the people that are watching this, it happens at Christmas time every year.
Yeah.
And we just need help. We need help all year long, but we thank you for all that you've done to contribute to us. And if you want to get involved with toys and start working on sowing some seed into next year's Christmas, you can go to our website right now at www.shepherdsheartpantry.org, and you can click on toys or wherever else you want to distribute or donate to. And we just want to say thank you to all of you who made such a wonderful, wonderful Christmas this year. Thank you.